So let us now first discuss what do we mean by ICT. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology, which means ICT means all those technologies, all those devices, all those products which help us to create, to store, to process, or to transmit data and information to the local or to the remote locations. It is the way, the technique, the technology by which we can transmit the data over internet using wired or wireless mediums. Transferring the data, disseminating the information, distributing the information over communication mediums is ICT. And this ICT is the part of our daily life now. For every second thing, we are using ICT, communication technology, for some or various purposes. Whether it is at your home or at your workplace or at your school, you are using these ICT everywhere. For example, being at your home, you are searching for a particular recipe in your kitchen. You are using ICT there. You are playing games on internet. ICT is there. You are watching live TV channels. You are watching kind of shows on TV. ICT is working there. You are talking on phone. You are sending messages through your mobile phones. ICT is working there. What is happening? We are transmitting the data from one place to another place. We are disseminating information to multiple places, to multiple persons residing at remote locations. How the people at remote locations are connected? They are connected through ICT, through any medium, any communication medium. It could be a wired medium, it could be a wireless medium. Now, what do we mean by wired medium and wireless medium? Wired is when the devices are connected with the help of cable. Wireless is when the devices, the gadgets, the technology is connected with the help of Wi-Fi or signals or microwaves or satellites. So communication is happening, and it could happen by two ways, whether with the help of cables or without cables, with the help of Wi-Fi. But then we are continuously communicating, and this communication is enabled with the help of ICT. Right? So it is again written here the same thing which I told you. ICT includes the products that store, process, transmit, convert, duplicate or receive electronic information, online information, digital information. And the example is the kind of softwares you are using, the online tutorials you are searching or you are seeing, distance learning programs you are opting, the emails you are continuously sending, the chats you are doing, the electronic textbooks you are reading, Kindle or anything, whatever you are reading. These are examples of ICT. Now, what is ICT at home? What is the use of ICT at home? At home, we use these technology, we use this information and communication technology for various purposes. First is whether you want to pay your electricity bill, your water bills online, whether you want to recharge your mobile phone, you want to book the tickets online, your flight tickets, your movie tickets, your bus tickets. You can transfer the amount within multiple accounts with the help of internet banking or mobile banking. Online shopping, we used to do it in a very frequent basis. Searching and surfing information on Google. This is a very obvious thing, for we go to Google for every second thing we want to search for. Watching live shows, watching TV, listening to radio, listening to FMs, this is ICT at home. Ordering food online, you are using Swiggy, Zomato, these all are ICT based apps. Now, what is ICT at workplace? When you go to your school, colleges, university, when you go to your office, the notice circulation, the emails, the sending and receiving of emails, formal letters, formal documents, files would be shared or transmitted with the help of ICT. You get to know about the latest rules, regulations, laws and policies of your school or of your company with the help of emails. Right? Like just now when we are conducting these online classes, your teachers might be sharing the content and the assignments and the homework with you through ICT. Right? When we are not able to meet face to face, so we are using ICT for the purpose. Intimation of meetings: whenever you have a new class, you get an intimation through the digital platform. So same way, when we go to office, if we have any meeting, we will get the intimation of that meeting with the help of ICT. Online meetings, online classes, connecting with remote offices, this is ICT at workplace. Moving on, tools which we are using to enable this ICT. I'm talking about information and communication dissemination, information and communication distribution, how it is being done. We use variety of devices for it. And the example is, it could be your smartphone, it could be tabs which you are using, the laptops which you are using, the radio, the FM, the email. These are the tools which enables the transmission of data and information over internet, over electronic portals. Now, when we're talking about ICT, we need to understand the basic things about computer system. So the basic components of computer system are, the first one is input device, output device, storage unit and CPU. Now what are input devices? Input devices are those devices which enables us to enter the data into computer. For example, we enter the data in the form of English or Hindi from the keyboard into the computer. We put a CD into the CD drive and then we get the data of that CD displayed on the monitor. So what we are doing, we are inserting the data, we are entering the data with the help of the input device called CD drive. Right? You attach a pen drive to your computer, the content you have in your pen drive will be displayed on the computer. So what we are doing here, we are entering the device, we are entering the information into the computer system. So all those devices which help us to input or to enter the data into computer for processing are input devices. Output devices, now whenever we enter the data, the computer process that data and then give you the resultant on the monitor or on any of the output device. For example, I entered hello from the keyboard. You will see that hello will be printed, will be displayed on the monitor. So what the computer is doing for us, the computer is processing that hello and then display it on your monitor. I am placing a CD into the CD drive and the songs which I have in that CD, I would be able to listen to those songs with the help of speakers. So what is happening? The output device speaker is giving me the information. I have a printer attached with my computer. I have given the command to print a particular page, and what the printer, the output device printer will do for me, the printer will give me the hard copy of that page. So these are output devices. Then storage unit, in between this input and output processing, there is a place called storage unit into computer. Whatever data we enter into the computer occupies a particular space in the CPU, in computer. That is called memory. Storage is also known as memory. Right? So whatever data we are entering into the computer, that data is occupying space somewhere in the storage unit, into the memory. And basically the data which we are storing into the computer always stores in the form of bits and bytes. This we all know it. This is we are familiar with this thing, that computer works on binary language, the language of 0 and 1. So whatever data we store there, that data converts into 0 and 1. Like as I have given you the example, I have written from the keyboard hello. So that hello will be converted into 0 and 1. And then the computer will process this 0 and 1 and will give me the resultant on the monitor. And the storage criterias are like this: 1 byte is equals to 8 bit, 1 kilobyte is equals to 1024 bytes, 1 megabyte is equals to 1024 kilobytes, and so on. Right? So this is how the storage is being managed. Now when we are talking about this memory is divided into two parts, primary memory and secondary memory. So let us first discuss what is primary memory. Primary memory is also known as main memory. It is also known as internal memory. The data when we enter from the input device, that first goes into the main memory. Whatever we are entering from the keyboard, that data first goes into the RAM of the computer, and after then it goes into the CPU for processing, and after then when you save that data, when you click on the save option, it goes into the secondary memory finally. So primary memory is the main memory, and whenever we want CPU to process something, that data first comes into the RAM and then it would be processed. Let me tell you this thing more detailed way. See, हम जब भी कोई चीज कंप्यूटर में एंटर करते हैं, वो सबसे पहले रैम में जाके स्टोर होता है, एंड देन रैम से वो सीपीयू में प्रोसेसिंग के लिए जाता है, and then after the processing, when we click on the save button, when we try to save that, after saving only वो secondary memory में जाके store होता है, otherwise वो RAM में ही रहता है, वो save नहीं होता है. Same way, when we want anything to be processed from secondary memory, जब हमें चाहिए कि कुछ secondary memory से processing के लिए आए, तो जब वो CPU में आएगा, पहले वो secondary memory से RAM में आएगा, and then it will be accessed by the CPU. So basically RAM क्या है? RAM का जो data है वो CPU के through directly access होता है. Okay? And this primary memory is of two types, RAM and ROM. RAM is of two types, static RAM and dynamic RAM. Static RAM is जो fix होता है, जिसे change नहीं कर सकते. Dynamic RAM is we can change the size of it. If you want to add extra RAM into your computer, you can always get it done. Then ROM, read-only memory. PROM is programmable read-only memory. EPROM is erasable programmable read-only memory. Double EPROM is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, where we can modify the data using UV lights, UV rays or laser lights or any electronic erasable kind of format. Then the second type is secondary memory. Now secondary memory is the hard drive of your computer, where the data is stored permanently until and unless your computer fails or your windows get damaged or corrupted. सेकेंडरी मेमोरी में जो डेटा स्टोर होता है वो लॉन्ग टर्म पे स्टोर होता है, वहां से डेटा अपने आप डिलीट नहीं होता है. द डेटा इज परमानेंट देयर. वेयरएज जो डेटा प्राइमरी मेमोरी में सेव होता है, दैट इज फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर टेम्पररी पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. As soon as you switch on the computer or the power goes on, the data vanishes from there. So if you want your data to be kept safe, if you want it to be used for a longer time, you always save it into the hard disk of your computer, in the secondary memory of your computer. And the example is hard disk, CDs, DVDs, pen drives, optical disc. All these are examples of secondary memory. Difference between primary and secondary is primary memory is volatile in nature, secondary memory is non-volatile in nature. As I told you just now, the data which you have in your primary memory could be there is a chance that it could be vanished, but the data which you have stored into secondary memory stays there for a longer period of time. Primary memory is faster than secondary memory. Why? As I told you, CPU directly accesses the data which is there in RAM. So the data which resides in RAM could be accessed faster by the CPU in comparison with secondary memory. Right? Then there comes a very important part of the computer, the part which is responsible for all the functions of computer, that is CPU. Central Processing Unit, which is further divided into two parts, CU and ALU, Control Unit and Arithmetic Logic Unit. Everything, all the functions of the computer, whether it is about getting the data from the input device, processing it, and then displaying it again with the help of output device, the data which is going into hard disk, the data which is going into RAM, the memory allocation, everything, the transmission of data from one place to another, everything is being handled by CPU. CPU is the part of the system which coordinates, which manages all the functions, all the calculations of computer system. जो भी टास्क हम कंप्यूटर को असाइन करते हैं वो सीपीयू के थ्रू मैनेज होता है. Okay. Then ports and connections. Now ports are what? Ports are the slots or the channels which help us to connect external or peripheral devices from the computer. Now peripheral devices क्या हैं? The additional input and output devices which you are adding or attaching from the computer. Your pen drive, if you want to attach a pen drive, there are a particular port in your CPU. You want to attach mouse, keyboard, printer, projector, plotters. So for all kind of devices we have kind of slots or channels in our CPU. You might have seen your CPU, there are variety of slots available. Slots may vary in size, in shape. There may be a 8-pin slot, a 16-pin slot, a 32-pin slot. So slots may vary according to the device. जैसा डिवाइस है उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपको स्लॉट्स अवेलेबल होंगे. साइज अलग होगा, शेप अलग होगा. एंड व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ दीज पोर्ट्स? These ports enables us to connect more peripheral devices to the computer system. Like we have a USB port, we have a Ethernet port जहाँ पे हम network cable को connect करते हैं. Audio ports where we can connect the speakers. Display port where we can connect the projectors or any other projecting device. Power port where we can plug on to the battery, right? Then there are another important things which we have to learn about computer is computer hardware and software. Computer hardware is the group of all those entities which are physical, which we can touch, which we can count, which we can see. Whereas software is the collection of all those virtual or conceptual entities which we cannot touch and measure. Okay? And the example is hardware is the keyboard, the mouse, the monitor. All these devices combine together, assemble together and creates a computer system. So these are hardware devices. Software is the operating system we have into computer. Then for listening to the songs we have Windows Media Player or VLC Media Player. Then working for documents or spreadsheets or presentations we have MS Office there. Then we have variety of softwares for multiple purposes. So those are softwares. And there is no computer system could be prepared if we do not have proper hardwares and softwares. See, if you have hardwares with you but you do not have software, there is no meaning of those hardwares. But then if you have softwares and you do not have the machinery, do not have the hardware, there is no meaning of those softwares. So hardware and software both are important for a computer system. Operating system is a software, is a system software. Now softwares are basically classified into two types. Softwares are of two types. One is application software and second is system software. And operating system is a system software. Without system software, our computer will not work. And application softwares are those which the user installs afterwards as per the requirement. Operating system is the system software. Without this, your computer will not work. As soon as you switch on into the computer, you require operating system, which will help you to work with the desktop or with the computer. And the example of operating system is Windows XP. Then we got new versions of Windows 7, Windows 8. Right now Windows 10 is going on. So latest version for all operating systems comes in the market as soon as the company releases it. So Windows, Linux, Vista, Ubuntu, Mac OS, iOS, Android, which we are using in smartphones, iOS, which we use in iPhones. So variety of operating systems are there. Then what is the use of this OS? What are the functions of this operating system? This operating system works for process creation, process termination. Process creation and termination means when we enter any data into the CPU for processing, उसका process create करना, उसको complete करके उसे terminate करना. This is the work of OS. For example, I have a document ready in MS Word, right? And I clicked on print command. So when I clicked on print command, this task will automatically go to the operating system. The operating system will understand कि अभी मुझे print करना है. So the process is created. And जैसे ही print हो जाएगा, the process will be terminated. Right? Now, what is process management? Imagine I have given 10 pages to, I have given print command to 10 pages. Then the operating system have the task here to queue up the processes. वो सारे pages को, सारी commands को queue कर देगा. And then जैसे ही आपका first page print हो रहा होगा, you will see आपको नीचे status मिलेगा pending these documents. Status in queue. So process management is happening. One process is completed, we assigned time to a particular process, OS assigned time to a particular process, then the second process will come, then the third will come. So process created, process managed, and process terminated. This is the work of operating system, right? Then memory management. Memory management is the data which is coming from the input device that occupies space in RAM. Now as soon as you click on the save option, that data goes to secondary memory. Then that data occupies space somewhere in the secondary memory. And then operating system का task क्या होता है? To manage this memory. It will tell you that how much space you got free in the drives. If you have no space, it will give you a message, no enough space in the disk, try again later, or try somewhere, storing it somewhere in another drive. So memory management is happening. Every file, every document is taking place, occupying place somewhere in the memory, and this memory allocation, this is done by operating system. Then file management. What kind of file is coming, what is the format of the file, which software would be used for opening this file. See, when you have a image file, तो वो image file आपका Windows Photo Viewer में ही तो open होगा. That file would not be open on Adobe Photoshop or Adobe PDF or on VLC Media Player. So file management is done. Disk management, you have variety of drives in your computer, C drive, D drive, E drive. So disk fragmentation, disk segmentation. This work is being done by OS. Time allocation. Which process is going to occupy how many time into the CPU? This is being decided by the operating system. And then peripherals management. The devices we are attaching from the computer, the pen drive, the network cable, the projector cable, the battery cable, the ports which we are adding, the devices which we are attaching with the operating system, with the computer, operating system manages all those peripheral devices. As soon as you attach a pen drive, the pen drive will automatically open in front of you. So operating system is doing that for you.